What this basically means is that farm workers need to get out of the dwelling that was subsidized by the government and have to exit that place, exit that camp, and move approximately 50 miles away from it. And it's a rule. It's not something that they have an option to either go with or not. Like, they're essentially uprooted from their homes. I myself was uprooted as well. What happens with farm workers though is that given that their job is seasonal and given that most of them are monolingual as well, they don't have many options for jobs. Again, a lot to do with institutional racism, the color of their skin, the way they speak, which is basically Spanish or all sorts of other languages that are not common or oftentimes taught in like the educational system here in the United States of America. So they don't have a lot of options. They're essentially denied 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Work because they don't speak the language, so they don't speak English. They're denied their rights because they don't know how to like stand up and like get them, essentially, because again they're denied an education. The children of farm workers, not only, this is me, my parents are both farm workers, not only are we, I guess you could say, essentially denied a healthy living environment given the shit wages that my parents get, but we're also denied an education because once my parents get uprooted, we are uprooted as well. Given that we live under them essentially, and we rely on them for like housing and like for food and all these things, right? So when that happens, again, the income of farm workers is way below poverty level, and so when that happens, a lot of folks can't afford regular housing here in the United States of America. So what peeps usually do around this time, some of them at least, is they go to the out of the country to survive, because out of the country the living conditions and economy of other countries are a little bit shittier than ours, so like the money or the dollar multiplies per se, and so they can afford to stay alive in another country, so they have to be not only uprooted from the camp themselves but also uprooted from the country essentially. So how that affects the education of farm workers is drastically. For one, again, farm workers don't have a lot of options. They don't have like a lot of potential jobs that they can be in other than farmed, other than like fields, because they're monolingual, because they're brown, and because they don't have the education to like, they don't have like resources to gain education about the injustices that are being done against them. So to them, this is normalized. This is normal. Living in poverty is normal. Living in poverty is basically normal for them because they think it's their fault. It's not their fault that like institutional racism has ganged up against them and kept them where they are at the moment. But it's just something that is, and it's gonna stay being unless some of us who care a lot stand up against it and like demand justices for folks that can't do it for themselves. So what happens to the education of the peeps that are the children of farm workers essentially is that so getting educated in another country does not allow folks to learn the material that they're going to be tested on here. So their grades suffer because once they come back to the United States to work, the kids have been educated in Mexico, or they've been educated in Guatemala, and so they know a lot about their country and they know a lot about their culture, but they don't know a lot about enough about the United States of America's educational system to like travel it or to go through it. So again, the grades suffer. Poverty really affects the means of which peeps get nutrients into their bodies and whatnot. So their IQ suffers. Pesticides, exposure to pesticides, exposure to all these things that are by the fields, environmental racism. Buena Vista Camp, I'm not sure if you're all aware of, is next to the landfill and also next to the jail, and also like in the outreaches of like Watsonville, so like really, really far away from like, I guess you could say, Target, or like, I don't know, like those main places. So it's just really in the outreach. It's like in the middle of fucking nowhere. But I guess you could say that because of these conditions and because of the lack of resources, we're essentially just not being heard. And the reason I'm saying this is because, like, you all folks, all sorts of different colors have all sorts of different class privileges and all sorts of privileges themselves. Should like become aware of this and do something of it, because, like, again, like I said, we don't have a voice, and we're relying on people who care a lot to really like change things, like an institutional level. But that's basically it. Right now I'm studying psychology at Sac State, studying, minoring in philosophy and like all sorts of socially justice kind of things that I'm getting involved in and whatnot. But hope that we can all stay together and join for the same cause, and essentially like maybe one day create a really drastic and important change for folks, so that as a society we can move forward to become a lot more humane, not just for white heterosexual males, but like for everyone in general, you know? Thanks for hearing me. My name's Jasmin again, and